Hey guys, my name is Alan Finn, and I'm a coach at ValueHeavy Coaching. Um, it's been a while since I recorded a video uh, to upload onto YouTube, so I decided to do one this morning, playing two tables of rush&cash 25 NL. Before I start my normal grind, um, I don't like to reveal my name on this site because of the stakes I'm playing, which will be 100 and 200 NL on here. Um, yeah, just for obvious reasons, don't really want people to know who I am and how I play. So yeah, that's in case anyone is asking why this is blurred out itself. Okay. So yeah, without further ado, probably try and record 30 minutes at least, depends how things are going, and we'll see what happens in the meantime if we extend it to, an extra 10 or 15 minutes. So we'll jump in anyways. Ish, we're going to be defending here, low frequency three betting. So on a 40, we're not going to three bet this time, so we're just going to call. So use a big size on this flop is not ideal. Just obviously only calling, nothing else we can really do here. This ace-9 is probably the bottom of the defending range here versus cutoff, I would say. Um, we'll start folding probably ace-8, ace-7 and below. So when this spade comes and he double barrels like this, straights get there, flushes get there, and he's taking a pretty aggressive line on a pretty shit board. I think I'm going to fold this exploitatively without a spade. It may be over folding, but I don't think it's a big mistake versus population on these games when it's blind on blind there. We're going to have a lot of flushes on that turn, so I think we just have to continue pair plus draw there in that scenario when he uses that sizing. This ace-9, trying to target maybe fours and fives here for a fold. I don't mind betting this. I don't think ace-9 has that much showdown value in this spot here. And given his line where he checked twice back on this kind of board texture, is obviously very good for his range overall. This king jack are going to go for a 1/3 here. With the king of clubs, going to be barreling a lot. And when he uses his check rate size, I think we just have an easy fold. You could check back that sometimes, but I think certain combinations without a club would want to be checking back more frequently. This one we could double barrel on a lot of turn cards. Club, queen, ace, stuff like that. Maybe even a 9. Uh, going to be opening the queens, obviously, and king 9 we're just going to open here as well. So we get cold called here. Probably going to go for a check raise, pretty high frequency in this board. Um, We'll see what happens in regards to sizing that he uses. We're just going to pick a 1/3 sizing here. Yeah, so versus a 1/3 size and 1/3 stab sizing, I think we're going to check raise here pretty happily. Checking back to king 9 on this board. If he checks here, I think we can actually bluff this because we will be checking back a reasonable amount of queen X and aces and kings on this turn. So I think we can bluff this on the river if he had checked. But now we just have an easy fold. Now we just have an easy fold. Just gonna fold. Ace-5, we are definitely three betting here a reasonably high amount. We're going to be squeezing this now though on a lower roll. This was 928 when it came around to us, so we're going to go for a squeeze here. So we get a queen 6-3. His range is going to be like pocket pairs, obviously some king queen, ace queen and stuff like that. I think I'm just going to start with a 1/3 here and double barrel a lot on a diamond and stuff like that. When we turn an ace, it's interesting. Just going to be calling with the queens here as well, and probably just going to be going broke here, I would say. So I'm going to go for a check here. Guess we pot control on this ace now, but I don't think we fold. And when he checks back turn, I don't think he ever has an ace because I'm pretty sure he's gonna bet that himself. So he kind of maybe only has queen X here, nines, tens, jacks. So we're gonna go for a block bet on this river. I think seems reasonable. Queens we're just gonna be check calling, but we're just gonna take our time. And we get the fold, which is nice. So we're just gonna be check calling queens here. Going to be in a really shit spot if he starts betting this turn because I don't think he's going to bet this turn only with aces and kings with a diamond. So if he does continue betting here, it's really, really shit. Like really, really shit. Three betting ace queen here. So he checks back. I don't think he checks back kings and aces with a diamond, but kings definitely sometimes, aces maybe sometimes as well, to be fair. Ace queen just an easy fold here. Again, I think we just block bet really, really small here, um, and fold to a raise, I think, because he's just not going to ever have bluffs there. I think if he has a value hands, he's just going to continue on the turn there for value himself. I think it's really that simple. If he does jam here, it's pretty gross, and it is a cold four bet pot, so I don't think there's any bluffs in his range here. Yeah, pretty annoying spot. We're just going to have to fold here, I think. Unfortunately, there's just no bluffs here, and he doesn't play jacks this way ever. I don't even think he called four bets jacks in this scenario, so I think we just have a an unfortunate fold here. Like even kings here with a diamond, he may not play this way. So I think we just have to fold there, unfortunately. 6-5 are going to be betting here for protection. It's not ideal, obviously, but again, he's just going to have zero bluffs there, in my opinion. Going to be three betting this ace eight here, and we get called. Pretty good board for our range overall. So we're just going to start with a one third. We can check back here sometimes as well. Both options are fine. I'm going to do a lot of checking back on turn. I think I just want to more or less define their range when I see bet here. That if they call, I know they have some queen X or some pocket jacks, maybe pocket tens, king ten, king jack, stuff like that. Yeah, the queens is an interesting hand nonetheless. Opening twos here, get defended. Probably just going to be checking back these twos here without a club. Probably higher frequency C bet with a club. So we're just going to be checking it back. There's argument for betting this turn, given we have the ace king advantage, but Andy doesn't give a fuck. So we're just going to fold here pretty happily and not 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 bother doing anything else there. Yeah, just touching on that queen's hand as well. Like I think we can only use that size and maybe solvers may shove there, but hard to imagine what worse calls there. I think with that small size and um we do get some calls from overpairs that might get a little bit sticky. But yeah, once we bet, I don't think he ever finds a bluff there. When we do have like ace king with the ace of diamonds and king of diamonds in that spot, that should have been a 2.5x open. Um, so we don't have many bluffs there either. Um, so I don't think we can call there, unfortunately. Again, I just don't expect guys to find bluffs there. It's like I just don't think they do. It's not impossible by any way, shape, or form, but you know, pretty unlikely, I'd say. Again, it was a call four bet pot. You know, his range in that spot. And by the way, it was a UTG open, small blind three bet, big blind call four. You know, just the ranges there are like ridiculously tight and strong. Jack nine, Jack eight. We're just gonna fold. It's a very low frequency call or open, but yeah, it just doesn't play well post out of position. 4-5 just gonna fold. 10-5 we're not gonna defend. King two we're gonna fold. Jack 10 we're not gonna be opening. Aces we will be three betting if somebody opens. Not the case. We open ourselves. It's not gonna be three betting this time. 7 we're not going to be opening or playing, nor the king 3. King 2 is just going to be a fold. Going to be 3-betting this ace jack this time on a lower roll. Instant fold. King 7 not going to be opening either of these. King jack will be playing on the button. Just going for a 3-bet here mostly. Just want to be playing 3-bet or fold again on these games. This ace queen, pretty decent board for our range overall. Yeah, he's going to have ace 2 and ace jack, but we're just going to start with a 1/3 here predominantly and probably just overbet a lot of turns. Going to be checking back, just giving up with this king jack mostly. Interesting spot here. I do still think we bet because we can still get value from king 10, jack 10, stuff like that. King jack, we're just checking back here. And again, it's a very good board for our range. And now we're just going to be checking back because we chop with any ace, unfortunately. Um, yeah, this is interesting because I think we just check here. It's pretty annoying spot. I think we could maybe start bluffing this on the turn because we are going to be checking back our overpairs on the turn itself, or sorry, on the flop itself. And now it's just a spot where, like, I don't know if we represent anything here. So I guess we just give up here. It's really passive. I get that. But, I think the mistake by me on the turn there by not betting once he checks twice. As I said, our range for checking back flop is going to contain overpairs. So with a hand like that, we definitely should be bluffing on the turn for like a 3/4 size, and I'd say seems reasonable. So that was just a mistake on my behalf there, honestly. Little bit too passive uh, there. But yeah, the strategy makes sense to continue on the turn there, or sorry, just start betting on the turn after he checks twice. So yeah, as I said, that's a missed opportunity there by me. I mean, he's defending ace jack off as well versus a 3-bet. It's just, don't even question that. I have not had my coffee yet. Nine's pretty easy to defend here. His 3-bet size is not ideal. Would be really calling a hell of a lot wider than what my ranges would advise against his 3-bet sizing. Um, yeah, going to be checking this back pretty happily. It's a bit of a weird check by him. May have even considered just folding versus a c-bet. Reason being is that he's just going to have a lot of continues, a lot of barrels on turns on this board. Uh, Nines here, I think we want to check and then start block betting the turn. I'm just going to fold nines there, man. Not going to be too concerned over that. His flop check is really weird. So we'll see what happens here with the nines. So I think we check here again, although the king is obviously good for our range overall. But I don't think we need to bet, although I'm not sure. Now the question is, do we get value from worse hands here? I think we do. Now I think we can block bet here. Probably a bit on the thinner side, but we're targeting like eights, sevens, maybe some 5/6. I think Jack X would have bet the flop for protection. I do think King X would have bet the turn for protection as well. So I think I'm just going to go for a block bet here. Threes we're not going to open. We're just going to fold. We could three bet that sometimes, but It's not a big deal folding it either way. Queen ten we're obviously opening. So now we're just going to be folding. And again, against this smaller size, and we're just going to have to call with Queen 10 off. The odds are too good, and we have position, so it's just one of those things where you just have to call wider against these three bet sizings. It's a little bit over 3x. See, it's just one of those things that like when you have position and the odds are good, you just got to call. If this is against a 4x size and a 4.5, then we obviously fold. King 9 here, we're going to be c-betting, and Queen 10, we got to call. Again, it's a very, very good board for his range. So when he checks here, it's a bit weird. Where I think with this hand, I mean, we're obviously going for an overbet here and possibly just like overbet jam and river as well. Um, I think we check this back and now we can bluff this river. I think as if he checks. Um, so now we can bet here. Now we just have an easy fold. Yeah, so we're going to have some ace X here, like ace jack, ace 10, even some ace queen. And we're going to have some flushes that want to check back at some frequency as well. So I am going to bet this and just hope for a fold. And we get that anyways. So yeah, there's argument for barreling or stabbing the turn. Either is fine there, I would say. I think having a diamond there, we can probably stab more frequently on the turn because we can follow through on the river on a diamond. But I think checking back is fine as well. Because as I say, we are going to have some top pair in our check back range, and we do want to have some flush draws in our check back range as well. So tens here, I'm going to go for a bigger bet on this flop for protection mostly. So on a 5, he's going to have ace 5 and maybe some low frequency 4-5. We block hearts and clubs combinations of ace 10, for example. So we're going to go for a check here. Going to go for a check call. King. The king, I guess we check here because he's going to have sixes through nines here, reasonably high frequency. So I think we have a lot of showdown value here, and he does check back. I'm pretty sure we win this hand. Yeah. So that's the range that usually would check back this turn on, mostly sixes through nines. So I don't think we need to bet that river. Well, not we have plenty of showdown value as it is, without question. So Jack 10 on a 93, we're going to be calling this time. Flop reasonably well. So he checks here. I think half or 1/3 is reasonable here. I don't think we need to do anything else. Gonna go for an over bet, I think, in this spot. Trying to think what size is good here. Just gonna go for 3-bet sizing. I think like this sizing is reasonable here. Uh, yeah, we have showdown value, but we also want to get a lot of folds and just build a pot by the river. And yeah, this guy just gets in king queen suited here, which is nice to see, and he's drawn dead on the turn. Give him the ship it. King 7 we're not going to be opening. 5-3 suited, we defend versus a 2.5, but not versus a 3x. Bit too big of an open raise sizing. And not going to bother watching that pot. King 10 we're just going to be folding. King Queen we're going to be 3-betting here. 3 is just going to be folding. 8-10 we're going to be folding also. So we get a first taste of a splash pot. We're going to be limping these fives. There's a stack in the big blind that has 160 big blinds, so I don't think we want to start piling in money here. I think we're going to have to call this though versus this jam. It's just one of those things, these splash pots where pocket pairs are pretty high EV spots, I would say. Um, and just take the flip mostly. If he wants to run it twice, he does not. So we're flipping for 100 big blinds, and we're ahead on the flop. Pretty shit turn card, and we hold surprisingly, which is great. Don't get me wrong. Jack 7 here. We're going to start betting backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, whatever that may be. Ace 9 is going to be an open in the cutoff. It folded around to us. King 3 we're going to be folding. 4-6 we're going to fold. Ace 3 we're going to open, obviously. Going to be checking this back full frequency, I would say, with this combo exactly. I don't see the point in betting here at all, so just going to be checking this back. We'll be calling turns though. Size is not ideal, but we do got to call one here. Um, Problem is I don't see many bluffs here, but we do have outs to improve, so we have to call. And now we got to call this river, unfortunately. If he has a 6, he has a 6. And this sizing is never a 6, in my opinion. It's probably just like maybe 2 pair or pocket like 2s or 7s or something like that. Um, yeah, just something like that. I mean, he should 3-bet that pre, but you know, again, I'm not complaining. We do have to call that turn though for the reasons I mentioned. Uh, Against this stack size, we're just going to make it a little. I normally make this like 6 or 7 big blinds. Could possibly even make this 4, but it's fine either way. It's not going to be that big of a difference. Opening the ace 10 here. At 7-4, we're going to be folding. Queen 8, we're not going to be defending. Add 2s, we're happily going to be defending. Obviously going for a check raise on this somewhat dynamic flop. We need checks back. I think we just go for three quarters here on a flush completing turn. And we're just going to get a lot of folds anyways. Yeah, it doesn't matter either way. Queen 5, we're going to fold. King Queen, we're going to be playing if it comes round to us, but we're going to be folding now versus UTG open. King Jack is pretty high frequency 4-bet here, so we're going to go for it. 5-6, we're going to open as well. So we're going to go for the 4-bet ski. And we get the fold, which is nice. On this texture itself, against big blind versus UTG on Queen 3-3, I think we just want to pick a bigger size than usually. Slightly bigger than 1/3 is what I tend to do on certain board textures in these positions where I don't have that much board coverage. Ace 4 is going to be fold. Ace 2 we're going to open. Queen 3, or sorry, Queen 10 we're going to open. Ace 10, pretty much full frequency call as far as I know. And he checks back. Again, with this hand, it's just like, still have some showdown value, beat some worse ASX, like ace 8 suited, stuff like that. So I don't think we need to start turning this into a bluff. Ace 9 is going to be a pretty easy defend. We're just going to be check folding the ace 10. We're going to check again on this turn. Potentially check raise. I would say check raise actually, given his range for checking back on the turn, or sorry, on the flop. I mean, what worse do we get called by here? Not a lot. So we're just going to bet small, I think. Maybe induce something, but I don't think it's going to be the case. So 6-7 here, we could definitely mix between bet and check, given we have the backdoor flush draw. But I think in this case, I don't want to really bet and get raised and start putting money in with a pretty marginal hand. So I think in this spot, we're going to check back with this hand. We would do this with 8x a lot as well, I think, at some frequency anyways. So he checks again. Now we definitely want to protection bet, I would say, in this spot. You can argue checking back again. I think when he checks twice, I just want to block bet, deny some equity to like ace 10, ace 9, even some ace jack. Well, he's after getting there for his ace jack. But I think this bet on the turn is fine. Um, and now we just have a very easy check back. And ace 10 is what he had. So again, just denying some equity to that hand. Again, you can definitely check back some turns there. I think my sizing on that turn there, if somebody is a good player and they see that 1/3 sizing on an 8, I think it would make sense to start check raising there a lot and go very, very polarized. But guys on these games just aren't going to look into that, I would say. I don't think a lot of guys actually wouldn't in general, in my opinion. So ace 4 is going to be a 3-bet here, especially this a deep. You get the call. Going to be checking here a lot, mostly for pot control purposes. We're super, super deep, and strategy deviates a lot that we just got to be checking a hell of a lot more out of position. And this is just a spot where we just have to. So on a jack, he's going to have a lot of jack X. I'm going to have a lot of jack X to some extent. So I'm just going to be checking here again. And he bets 1/3. Interesting sizing, probably never a jack, potentially a better ace though. So we are going to call. Our hand looks exactly like, queens, maybe tens, nines, something like that. So we're losing to ace queen and ace king here. So we're definitely going to be calling this river, I would say, because I imagine he would pick a bigger sizing with jack X on the turn. So I don't think we can fold this sizing on the river. Because as I said, we literally lose like ace queen. And I think he picks a bigger sizing with jack X on the turn. I assume. It would make sense to, but yeah, we just got a call here and just hope to win. And he has ace queen, which is unfortunate. It's the only hand that really beats us in this spot. Um, for the price on the river, it's just, yeah, we can't really fold there. If you bet really like a lot bigger there, I think we can maybe start folding, but I think we played the hand absolutely fine. We defined his range to exactly what it is, and that was the only hand that was beating us. The rest of them were just probably just chopping with mostly, or he just has a bluff. He never has a jack there ever, I would say. But as I said, we played the hand post absolutely fine. We need to check they're out of position a lot. Fours are going to come along here. Going to start with a half pot here and probably do a fuck ton of overbetting on the turn. Um, Especially on this one because he can have queen jack, he can even have queen 10, and he can have king queen. So we are going to overbet this turn very aggressively, I would say. I just put a lot of pressure on that range. So this is fine, by the way. Like as I said, we're targeting that range where we want to start building a pot where we have enough flush. Yeah, we heavily block the top pair scenario, but that doesn't really matter because his check call range is going to contain a hell of a lot of queen X, a lot of queen X actually. Um, so yeah, I think this is fine. We just have to start building pots when we have hands like that and just hope people have hands to continue. Um, it's just one of those things. 10-4 is going to fold. Ace Jack, we're going to be opening. Falling to a 3-bet. Um, Feels like one of those boards where checking back makes sense as well, I would say. Like on a 10, on a 10, we don't really like it. On a king, yeah, I think we're just gonna check this one back. Um, I don't think we're gonna fold for this size. Can maybe bluff this river actually, but don't know does it make that much sense. I guess we just check this down. I mean, I don't expect to win here ever, but it's just one of those things. I mean, he is ace-6. It's just insanely weak that you just bet turn and don't follow through on river, but like not a good combination to start probing with, especially if you don't follow through on the river. I'm not sure checking back the turn or the flop is good there in that spot, but it can't be that bad with like that combination exactly. It's definitely going to be checking back sometimes, I would say. Um, so this queen 10-7 mono. Hmm. I think we do want to bet for protection here, so I'm just going to go for a small bet with range probably. Going to start with a bet here. Just get a fold. Guys play really face up on these monotone flops as well. That when they actually start raising here, it's just like the easiest fold in the world. Best case scenario, he's doing that with the king or the ace of spades blocker, and if he is in fair play, we invest one big blind there to find out essentially. So eights here definitely going to be betting for protection here, and going to be probably picking a little bit of a bigger size in here too. Checking back a lot of turns, I would say. And when he raises here, I think I'm just gonna pretty much fold here without question, given that like we don't even have a diamond in our hand, and he called from the small blind, so he's gonna have three sixes, ace jack. Best case scenario, maybe some flush draws. But I would continue here eights with a diamond. I think is reasonable. Jacks here, given we block top set and we have a jack of clubs. Normally I'd pick a bigger size than this flop, but we heavily dominate the top of the calling range. So we're just going to go for a smaller size in here. Now when the queen of hearts comes in, it brings in a load of flush draws or backdoor flush draws as well. So now we can start sizing up. Now we can start sizing up. He's going to have a lot of ace queen here. Some queen ten of clubs, stuff like that. When this checks back, we are just going to start betting three quarters here. Um, yeah. So here we obviously have a very, very easy jam and just hope he doesn't have like ace 10 of clubs. Although I would expect ace 10 of clubs to check raise the flop. So unless he has ace 10 of hearts, that's another combination. But I think it's likely he just has like ace queen here, maybe king queen, um, maybe even queen jack. But yeah, we just have a very easy value jam here. And yeah, he just folds. Yeah. I mean, probably not the best river if you have some queen X there, but I think the main difference from a deviation from my default strategy there is the fact that we had top set where we can just size down there. Um, and it's probably better given we block so much the top of the range there. It is a board where you probably can go a lot more polarized because it's pretty raggy. Eights here on a 96. I think we're actually just, I mean, guy is a short stack on the button. Maybe just calling here is better and start squeezing like nines plus. Eights is like really close here actually. Could very well be a squeeze there if I'm being honest. Um, but can't be that bad either. I think in that spot it could be more of a full frequency thing. It's folding here obviously. I think against that stack size, we probably need to be squeezing a little bit like less of what we would consider like our default squeezing range in that spot because with stack size, Um, okay, folding here. So I'm probably going to do like maybe 5 more minutes, 3 or 4 more minutes, 3 or 4 more minutes even. But yeah, decent session. A few interesting spots. I hope people find it interesting. Some of the spots, anyways. I think here we're just going to start with a 1/3. Again, do a lot of overbettings on the turn. We're not going to overbet this turn. This hand, I would say, like picks 3/4, 2/3, 3/4 max. I would say. He's going to have a lot of 5x here, obviously some queen x and stuff like that. So he just snap jams here. I think in this spot, I would overbet like the king and the ace high flushes here. I think with this hand, we just want to use a 3/4 sizing. Um, I think seems reasonable. We can't really go too polar with this hand because we still lose the king x of spades and stuff like that. So we're checking back this here. This is the turn where I might start block betting with king 10, king jack. I think we could start checking more, but I think with king 10 we want to start betting a little bit more frequently. I'm going to give up on this river now. Um, would have followed through on probably every other river bar a 6. Now I think we just give up, unfortunately. And he has queen jack, so thankfully that 6 did come. Um, we don't represent much 8x there. Not necessarily that we don't ever have 8x there. We can definitely check back like 8-7 on the flop and stuff like that. Um, but his check call range is going to connect with that river reasonable amount where I think we can just give up there and not be too upset over it. This is an interesting spot here. I do think I want to call 4-bet this, something like this. It's a bit on the bigger side because of his 3-bet sizing. Normally, if this was like 2 big blinds, and he made it like 7 or 8, I'd make it like maybe 18 or 19. But his 3-bet sizing is quite small here. Obviously folding if he comes over the top. So we're opening the ace-2 suited here. So we get a call here. Um, we're going to start with a range bet here. So we're going to bet like 12 big blinds and probably check back on turns a lot. Because he can still have ace king here. I do still expect him to bet ace king, I would say. So we are going to bet here anyways, and we're going to check back this turn and see what happens on the river. Like we block queens, and I don't think we need to bet that much for protection here. Pretty reasonable river card, I would say, if he has got the ace king. But I do expect to see a lot of checks from him here, honestly. Maybe he may be tempted to turn something into a bluff here, but I'm not really sure what. Like we basically have the nuts here, I would say. And this is just going to get punished fucking hard. If this river was like a 10 and he does this, I'm pretty sure I'm doing the same thing here. Like this just feels like tens or jacks just really trying to buy a cheap showdown. Maybe some ace jack suited, ace 10 suited, something like that. Um, he obviously never does this with better hands. I severely doubt. So I guess we just like rip this now. Ace 9 here on this double flush draw board against this size, and we're going to call one more. And obviously just fold river now. So we do get to see the showdown, and he has ace 9 as well, so that's more than reasonable. Yeah, that's an interesting one with the ace queen. Like, as I said, I still do that, I think, even if I don't river top 2. But I think we're going to leave it at that, guys. Folding this here and defending the queen 3. So he checks here. Again, want to bet this hand for protection mostly. Can definitely check this back too, but I don't mind betting here. get some value from ace highs, king highs, queen highs even. So yeah, um, yeah, some interesting spots in the session. Um, let me know what you think about certain spots. Do a timestamp in the comments below of a hand where you want some feedback on. We'll be happy to reply if I see comments in the next couple of days. I don't mind. Um, but yeah, would be great to hear your feedback from the video itself and how you thought I played and what you may have done differently in some spots. But yeah, nice to do one of these again. So if that's the case, I'll be chatting to you guys soon. Best of luck on the tables.